Welcome back to the Intel Esports Arena here in Burbank, California. My name is Stunna. I am your host. We just saw Rogue join every other team in the Pro League by grabbing their first win of the season, which they did find over Ghost Gaming. Let's go ahead and bring in now the guys who are really going to help us look into the next matchup.
It's a clap for them. Welcome to the
W column.
the big league. There you go.
Speaking of next matchups, let's talk about Inferno, guys. We've got Ghost and Rogue going toe-to-toe in Inferno. Is this a map where we can expect Wardell to come out with the op, for example?
Yeah, it's going to be lit, like Inferno. Yeah, no, Wardell's nuts on Inferno, actually. He has the movement to move around and be a dynamic opper on the CT side. And Inferno is actually a pretty good op map on CT side. T side, it's a little more difficult to be proficient with it. But yeah, I think Wardell can have a big game here.
Yeah, I think that Whitmer actually shut down Wardell in the cash match, and that Wardell's a huge factor of Ghost Gaming. He was, the up-and-comer, the people, everyone focused on because he was putting up numbers. And so I think, as you said, this can be a great op map if they put him in the right spots. Mix it up, push him in banana, push him middle. Just have him all over the place, make it a nuisance, make it difficult for to be read on the CT side.
Yeah, and knowing Whitmer's personality, I actually think he has that that positive feedback effect where it's like once he gets going, he has that snowball where he just gets better and better. So that actually might be in favor of Whitmer again here on Inferno.
Well, we're looking at this matchup, and we've looked at the rosters before. Some of the names that have stuck out here from the Rogue side of things. Hiko, certainly a talking point. We see him still able to frag, still able to put up numbers on the board. Going into Inferno, is this something where we can see him leading the charge? Do we see Vice also coming in and continue the same sort of trend of these guys just being dominant?
I like how you say still able to frag. What does that portend? Like he's getting old?
No, I'm just saying. Okay. In terms of consistency within this team that's obviously struggling on its own,
yeah.
Hiko has been somewhat of a light.
He's been a foundational rock. Yeah, I mean,
portend that.
I think Vice has been the most impressive and the most consistent. Hiko, decently consistent. It's going to be interesting though because Inferno is one of those maps where if you lose a site, it's probably not going to get retaken as easily as A site on cash. So I think there's a lot less wiggle room.
Well, speaking of wiggle room, this is my favorite part where I get to watch you two wiggle right next to each other in your predictions. So let's talk about them. Give it to me quick. What do you got, Eric?
I'm going to say Rogue's going to win this one. They look pretty good. I mean, I think it's going to be a closer game, but Rogue, they have that chip in their shoulder. They're hungry.
Real quickly, James, let's hear it.
As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to take Rogue too.
Well, yeah, there was no shortage of Rogue picks today, but the Betway odds are in front of us, guys. Do we agree how that panned out?
Looks favorable.
I mean, it's agreeing with our predictions, so I mean,
it's a sleeper pick overall. Well, you know what? Blue and Launders are ready to take this one away. I'm going to go ahead and bring them in now, guys. Are we excited about Inferno, or are we excited about Inferno?
I think we're excited about Inferno.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely excited about Inferno.
Well, I tell you what. Why don't you guys just take it from here?
Oh, I didn't even let him finish the sentence. So, welcome back, folks. And yeah, it is almost time to jump into Inferno here now.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at your prediction standpoint. How do we think this matchup's going to go? Is there a chance for Ghost here, or is this one going to go to Rogue as well?
Because Inferno is a little bit harder than Cash, I'd say it's hard for me to decide who would actually be better at this map. I really don't know how good these teams are at Inferno, to be honest. And there's just been so much up in the air stuff as well as them just I mean not putting wins on the board. That's just I feel like they don't have a really solid map pool, but they might just really like Inferno. I have no idea honestly what to expect from either team, and I think we'll go round by round just to kind of go with I think this will help build the.
As they start to move back up, Hiko, he's already going to be able to pick up one kill. He's looking for more. He's tagging on quite a bit of damage there. He's already brought two other players down to about 2/3 of their health pool. Ubert will be the one to get the next kill, though, and there's Hiko again. So he gets a second. And yeah, it looks like Ghosts are going to fall pretty quickly here. Their last man alive is going to be found over in the A site. And look, he walked right in. It's an open site. That would be great if he had the bomb. But now it's just a little bit awkward.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they probably wouldn't have been a rotate if he did have the bomb and they didn't see it at top banana, but at this point they're scurrying around at mid. Rix has very few options. Minute 10. He's got to find 5 different kills. Every time he gets a kill, 4 players will reposition, then 3 players will reposition. It'll be so difficult to do this.
So it looks like he's just going to try to take the long way around to B as he goes through arches there, and obviously through CT spawn and everything. it is potentially possible for him to sneak up there, get at least 1 or 2 kills, and then get the bomb and run away. Maybe at the very least getting a plant. I still highly, highly doubt he's going to clutch this. But at the very least, he's going to make an attempt at it instead of just throwing his life away. There's the bomb. Now I think they just saw him.
Yeah,
they saw him,
yeah.
so they're all stacking up now. Oh, and the bomb's the other side of the half wall, too, so they're waiting for him. Good first shot, at the very least, looking for more. He's only got so much ammo, though, and eventually Uber is just going to take him down as a rogue. Take a nice, safe path to securing that pistol round.
Yeah, pretty simple stuff. We saw a rush B with a flash. It can kind of go either way. There's not too much bad to say about it, and Rogue just had a superior hold. They're even playing close-up banana, which is like, you almost want that as a T because you're like really close to USPs, but at the same time, whoever gets that first kill has so much more momentum moving into the next fight, especially for the CTs if they have 2 players as opposed to 1. It's much easier to keep much easier to keep both players alive if they're both there than it is to keep 1 player alive if he's like fighting by himself. So
well, now we're going to see Ghost starting to route their way down into just a pretty straightforward execute, to be honest, using the halls primarily, as they're all going to be going down boiler, and I think a few will probably end up sneaking out through long hall too. Actually, no, they're splitting it up a bit more now. Got at least one maybe looking in that direction. But just a straightforward A play to see if they can at the very least get themselves a plant now as they go for the force buy. Maybe upset the round as well. There's 3 players here from Rogue as they've gone for a default stack themselves on the seat side. They're paying a lot of attention to long haul though, so Whitmer's gonna have to call this out and make sure they change up their positions to get ready for a wrap from porch side, because that's definitely gonna be where most of the pressure is coming from should they follow through with this hit. They have their guys through mid choke and they're going around. Actually, they're heading towards wrap side now too, so not necessarily a porch play either. Whitmer, he's trying his best to peek out and spot this for intel. Ghost obviously waiting for themselves to set up on nades. There we go. Smoke's moving in. Whitmer's next peek as he gets a flash assist. He's able to get 1. Can't get any more than that, though. Seb is going to be there to trade him back out, despite the great flash to help him out on that peek there. Now Uber waits for the rest of these guys to move in and crunch, and we're going to start to see the B players rotating in here, too. Uber tagging a bit of damage, gets the bomb carrier after that. So good follow-up here. And Vice just making sure nobody sneaks through over here on porch side. You can see Rick's hoping that the guy on site would pop back out from his coverage spot, but it's not going to happen. And Rogue do shut down the second round.
yeah, and just in our trap with the smoke on the site, or they're jumping through it. And Ghost Gaming like to do that, and we do see a lot of setups where smokes allow terrorists to advance forward to a position. It actually blocks them out of the site. Like we see Big use that on lane on A site, where they'll use a smoke to help them get close to the site, but you have to wait until that smoke dissipates before they can move forward. And what Ghost will do quite often is actually smoke so they can flash through it. Rogue seem to be fully well aware of that, and Uber, just a small thing, had that FAMAS, didn't blow all his ammo on the smoke, instead waited for somebody to actually come through it, because he half expected that to be a possibility. So that was just a good thing that he did there to keep himself alive.
Well, Ghost just going to play nice and slow again on this third round. Since they are on basically a minimalist buy here, only 2 P250s as far as guns are concerned, and just a couple of flashbangs here as they'll shift walk their way up. Banana, not really wasting any time with it though. They're going pretty straightforward about this one. So it is going to rely on Hiko and Shinobi to hold off this hit from within the site. Very straightforward round, however. They even had a player up on Flower Pot. That's going to change now, and actually gets smoked out. Seb gets the kill too. Well, I think he was partially blind and through the smoke. So nicely found there to take down Hiko. And Shinobi can only get the 1 kill that he got previously. I mean, this is working out so far for Ghosts. We're going to see other players start to move in for the retake, but even they're not necessarily safe positions. Look at this. Whitmer should absolutely be dead here, and thankfully he is, but unfortunately it leaves Connor out as it took him so long to get that kill. Now just down into a 2v2. We should be able to see the CTs come out on top as it's Rick's left alone, and he almost wins it out in the 1v1 too. But Vice does indeed close down the round for Rogue, and they'll get a third, but a very expensive third round.
Yeah, that was just really, really ugly all around. And like Hiko dropping off the boost, I mean, you should maybe just have like a lineup to throw the smoke off the wall for resmoking Banana, because falling off to smoke it means that basically he should have been the person to smoke first, because his teammates on the floor, he has a better ability to do that, or just stay up there and wait for them to come through the smoke, because that's what he's hoping they do anyway. And ultimately it came down to a really randy P250 shot through the smoke by Seb, but that could have been avoided altogether if he had just stayed up. So yeah, a very expensive round for Ghost Gaming, even though Rogue won. Now we have a default into this round. Wardell picking up the op to fight Whitmer. It's going to be a very important duel for sure. I think we'll see it probably more often than not, and we'll probably dictate the pace of the half. Oh, but Whitmer getting flashed off completely. He tries to delay a shot, but after eating the flash, probably should have just moved because ends up getting sprayed down and overstayed his welcome for sure.
I believe even Ghost's teammate there, excuse me, Connor's teammate even ate the flash a little bit as well. So worked out to keep his opponent Whitmer out in the open for a little bit longer there in order to ensure that they get that first kill. So early 5v4 advantage goes to Ghost, but very little map control still, despite being, you know, almost halfway through the round at this point. They don't have any real control over Banana. They haven't pushed in through mid-choke point. They don't even have presence in the halls anymore. They're just now starting to push back up, and you can see they're fearful of what a lot of teams are doing nowadays, which is taking that very aggressive stance on Banana, pushing up to either the cubby on the right side of the screen or Log sitting behind over there. But Seb, he's going to be alive again, and he gets another kill here at Long Halls. That's Vice going down now, and he could find a third in a second. And in fact, he does. Catches Uber. That's going to completely kill that Banana play and send everybody over here into this site and leave Shinobi alone to defend it. He'll only get a 1-for-1 trade as Connor takes him out, and now just Hiko stands alone in a 1v4. He'll be able to move in, gets a quick first kill, tries to follow it up with a second. He's going to be very cautious though as a flank is moving in against him in a second. If he's not paying attention, well, Rick should be able to take him down, but only brings him down at 29 HP, and then Hiko re-peeks it to catch Rix with no gun out. Wardell will thankfully shut it down, but still Hiko sneaking in there, getting 2 additional kills. Definitely not the game plan for Ghost.
Yeah, not the game plan for Ghost. I mean, it was such a weird round for Rogue as well. Hiko actually gamble stacked about halfway through the round when the second kill comes out in apps later on. And obviously that Seb putting together that second one, which is very important, as Vice wants to trade because there are 2 more people on the side and they all just die the same part of apps, and it's just super weird because they end up with a 4v2, they get in the site, they bomb down, and then Hiko gets 2 kills in an afterplant. And I really just wanted to see where the round went, if Ghosts were going to decide to go back to A if nobody else peeked, or if they would have gone B and Rogue made a bad move, because in the first game they made a lot of good gambles.
5-man stack from Rogue over here sitting on the site. They're going to be able to get 2 trades so far. Almost a third from Hiko there as he brings Sep down to 10 HP, but that'll push everybody back over here. ZQK pushing in against the P250s regardless. Another 1-for-1 around the corner. They got the bomb this time too, but Whitmer obviously trying to hold the USP. This is going to be a little bit rough. He gets close to the kill, but no dice. Wardell will take him down and Ghost win the round.
Yeah. Contact explodes on anti-ecos are one other thing you can do. Obviously, running up that way into a crossfire with 2 people on either side of the crossfire is a risk you run, and sometimes you can lose more. You can get killed, or you can lose more people than you maybe need to. But there isn't like Inferno doesn't necessarily have like an A site like Cash does, where you can go A main, get control of it safely, molly out every single spot, and then execute on the site. So you do have to get creative sometimes, and that was one of their options. Now they do win the round. Rogue have now 2 UMPs and no ops, and are fighting B control. But Zeb on the other side of the smoke, I don't know if he's going to go through this.
He's going for it, but Hiko's ready for it. Hiko almost gets the second kill. Whitmer comes in to trade it back after Hiko goes down. So Rogue still have the advantage, 4v3. And they decide to just split the remaining players 2 for 2. This Shinobi's just going to wrap over from A to help out with the B-bomb site. Ghosts themselves still trying to figure out exactly how they want to play. They still have, I think it's ZQK way over on the other side of the map outside of T Halls. Ready to try and catch anyone if they try to push out from the site. Not going to be happening though. Both the CTs from Rogue on the A-bomb site are sitting inside a pit, patiently waiting for a hit to come back in this direction. And they just might get their wish, as it looks like Ghost have given up that banana control. Still kind of leaning both ways though, as they go up and down banana. ZQK pushing out of the zone. I think it's open for a repeat of the last couple rounds here, but I doubt we're going to see that happen again.
Yeah. No, they might want to have ZQK make some noise. Oh, it looks like they're actually making noise at B to run back, so ZQK are going to probably lead this execute, but with double pit, it's a very strong setup. It's hard to deal with, and you've got one person coming out of halls. No one's actually watching it just yet, but the initial smoke as they go back to B, so some type of double big. And yeah, they pull Whitmer on to peek it, so that leaves Shinobi all alone.
Now Shinobi's going to have to hold this. The thing is, there's only 10 seconds left, so Shinobi can sit here unnoticed and stop the initial plant. He can deny the round in its entirety, and there you go. No time left to plant it here. Rix is going to try to rush it, but he doesn't have enough time. As long as Vice and Uber stay alive, which they do, obviously, they'll win the round on the timer.
And that's why Inferno's a harder map, right? Like, the rotations are much longer, so it's very difficult to throw as many fakes as you like, especially that late in the round. Like, it kind of made sense to do either B or A. It didn't really matter where they faked. They just wanted to pull a rotate, and they did end up getting Whitmer to push B, but you can see from Whitmer's perspective, he feels like he can push B because it's way too late to go to that site, and they kept 2 people there. So it ended up making a lot of sense for Rogue, even though they lost a player and it looked like, oh, maybe Ghost were getting away with what they wanted to. Well, they didn't have enough time to make their own play, so not exactly the best decision. And that's the learning curve here on this map.
Yeah, so Ghost are once again going to push in and take quick hulls control. Not really a huge task there. Seb trying to spray through. It looks like it's on point, but
It's just not bangable.
yeah.
Maybe it's just through the window. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah, I've definitely seen people take hits from there by getting sprayed from inside, so maybe you're right. Maybe it is just the window. Regardless, Uber up on top. We'll get a quick one-for-one trade. Whitmer can't do much in terms of trading that since he's going to be smoked off, and Wardell looks to find the op shot from it. The site hits it too, but it's through a box. Thankfully, ZQK is there to quickly finish off the kill, and Wardell back on point again as he finishes off another player inside of Pit. Rix will sit here and also catch, and he rotates. Finds Shinobi on the way back up from that B site coming through mid. And it leaves just Hiko alive in a 1v3. Not really winnable for him, so he's going to start to back away over towards that B site, save his gun, and let Rogue pick up a third round.
It's an interesting
Or
point
Ghost,
to
excuse
just, yeah, Joe Ghost. It's an interesting point to see Rix in a position where he's in a pretty good spot for the afterplant. I mean, just kind of on flex to get. I mean, it was kind of open, but at the same time, he got his kill at mid. So let's say he loses that duel. However, it comes down to a 2-on-2, and then they have lane and arch open up, and it's a much more winnable situation. So sometimes the round can hinge on just like the single frag from a player that could be expected to win their duel in another universe very close to ours. But a round on the board for Ghost, and 4 kills from 4 different players, so everybody pitching in nicely. Now we have Rogue in a situation where they don't have enough to put together a strong buy, but I think they are reset, so are going to just be spending all the money they have off the back of this M4. Hiko dropping a Famas, and yeah, it's a Semphis buy.
So yeah, 3 guns, 1 being a UMP, and then we have split rifles, just a couple pistols. Rogue will try to do their best here, and we'll just see how it pans out, as Ghost obviously still on a full buy themselves, including the up for Wardell there, who did some great work with it in the last round too. Most of it coming out from the long haul there on balcony in the A site. Nice slow start again from Ghost, as they're not really going to take any risks early on, though. Rogue have tried to play a bit more aggressively out from the B site. You can see Vice specifically is pushed all the way down Banana in that little cubby. Ghost have been checking that every time they push Banana, though, so I'm not sure how much success Vice is going to have with this position. And that's assuming they even do anything on Banana this round. Looks like they are, though. And we'll just see how Rice will pan out, or Vice, excuse me. ZQK can wrap around the corner, and yeah, it doesn't last very long at all there. They've been checking that every time they've brought up Banana. So ZQK is going to make quick work of taking out Vice there. Now they have to pull a rotate. Shinobi, he's going to go into the B site, but still the only man there. They're still really gambling on this being an A hit, as they've kept a constant 3 players over in that site.
Full B control, Shinobi in a rotator position. It's not so bad on Inferno to be in a rotator spot, because you can obviously rotate back through construction and come into another spot that also might get smoked out, however, so that, you know, there's a second option, but it's not always the best depending on what utility the T's have. But yeah, that's pretty much a round forfeited now. So I think that this buy actually is not so bad if you do recycle the guns at the very least. So you know, as CTs, they can save, keep a couple of rifles, keep the UMP, upgrade Uber's gun, and buy a gun for Vice, and they're not in a bad spot at all.
Yeah, and the decision from Shinobi as well there, even before they move into the bomb site, he already calls it to back away and join the other 3 players here. So they're looking to save. The only player that's even going to die on this round is Vice, as I highly doubt Ghost is going to take the risk to go hunting over there in A with all 4 players being set up. So everybody will probably just end up backing away, keeping themselves alive. And Ghost will be able to tie the game up now, putting us at 4-4. We'll still leave Rogue with a pretty inadequate buy going into the next round, but still, at least they're going to have basically exactly what they have now.
Yeah, and they were anticipating a double save, and I don't think they were anticipating a save on this round, but it's a very good decision to do this early. Bomb's about to explode soon, and we're finally having a couple of terrorists come out of halls. Will they find any opponents to kill? That's the question.
Rogue is sitting super tucked away, so
yeah,
nothing happens, especially with the post-round timer.
Yeah, just so it's so important that they do. So here they only have 1900 apiece. That means they can't even get a good gun for Vice. He'll probably armor up himself. They could drop him a UMP. The rest of them could at least buy up on grenades and potentially another kit or 2, and have another opportunity to buy with loss bonus increasing into the next round. So even if they lose here, it's not the worst problem in the world, considering they expected to have to save once again.
See a nice little lesson in like game design there, as the plants don't actually have anything below them. They're just floating in there above the river.
Was that quote from Steve Jobs? You should paint the back of the fence just as well as you paint the front of the fence.
Yeah. Something along those lines.
Or maybe it's just a plant that we don't know about.
Just a floating variant of lily or something.
Yeah.
Just saving the VRAM. There we go. Yeah. We'll get the speed tour of it.
I love we just have more smooths at this plant.
It's just those leaves in the side are attached to it. That's what we don't know. It's like one of those reverse plants. It is the roots look like the leaves, and the leaves are actually the roots or something like that. But we should be unpaused in a moment, guys, getting back into it. This is the pause, first pause, I should say, anyway, from Rogue here, as they're taking some time to figure this out. It has, again, been a relatively back-and-forth game. A bit more streaky than the last map, of course, but still, we're at the same situation where both teams are tied at relatively low scores, so neither one having a massive advantage at this point. And whoever can come out of the gate here, and more importantly, break the other team's economy, is probably going to be looking at a pretty decent advantage here to start off this half.
So for Ghost, they know that Rogue decided to save 4 players last round, that they didn't have a great buy last round and won't have that much of a better buy this round, but it is going to be a similar situation. So I'm kind of curious how they set up. Last round we saw them put a lot of pressure on Halls, but more safely so. They threw Molotovs early on. Instead here, they're kind of jumping in right away, which Halls can be tough just because it's very friendly to pistols, and sometimes you don't want to go there when you think it's going to be like an anti-eco setup. In this situation, they know it's going to be something more of a force. And I really wonder about this this wall bang, because I think he might have the wrong angle, or obviously you'd be able to hit it with an AWP, but I'm surprised to not do damage with a rifle.
Well, slow start again for Ghost, as they've shown a pattern of doing in the previous rounds of this half too. Shinobi getting hit a little bit here, and oh, great flash against Uber, but Vice sitting behind the corner there. Nobody expects him, so he trades it back twofold, taking down both 7. Connor following that up. Whitmer's going to be able to find a kill, and very, very quickly the entire Ghost hit falls apart. Rix will get the second kill too. Vice was not ready to take that battle, so Rix opens up an opportunity for himself. It's a bit of a small one though, as after that battle he survives with only 7 HP. And he's going to have to try and wrap around. He'll pause here at Arches, as he's obviously looking for Shinobi to wrap from that B-bomb site. But in a moment, he is going to have to go, and he's going to have to quickly find Hiko. You'll note the time, too. He's not leaving himself a whole lot of room to check all of these spots in the site. Since this hasn't really been explored previously, he has to do a whole lot of digging, and he does not have a lot of time to do it, especially with an AWP as well. It could take a good 3-4 seconds to get that kill, and he's just running himself dry. He's got one AWP shot. I think he might have seen him there, but it doesn't matter. He's just going to sit in the corner, survive. I don't think Hiko saw him, so he is trying to spam on the site, but here's the opportunity for Rix. There's the 1 kill, so picks that up at least. But Rogue are going to win the round on timer.
Okay, so Hiko had like the inkling that he was there, but wasn't for sure. Okay. Well, yeah, he's very fortunate that he lives, because, I mean, they do have some money, but to be able to give the AWP to Wardell, buy yourself in full, not have to buy yourself with less money than you started, then that's really good. Vice, critical player in that round, under the Balk, was able to dodge the flash, which is very important. I think ideally in that setup, he doesn't need the flash, but then he also saved his teammate from having to die, but maybe he caught the after image of it and couldn't help right away.
Unlucky bounce on the molly there for Ghost is going to slow them down a little bit. It's like they wanted to try and throw that behind the barrels, but it ended up bouncing right off the top of one of them. So now they re-molly and flash on the other side, and they'll need an additional flash just to get them over this half wall here. It's going to be safe, though, since Rogue go back to a more passive style of setup over on this B-bomb site. They have gone for a 3-man setup, though, and usually this is done earlier to try and allow them to push out aggressively, which is exactly what we're going to do. Counter-aggression now, but this is the moment going to go pretty evenly, trading 1 for 1. Mainly serves the purpose of just pushing the Ghost players back behind the half wall again, but it does cost them one of their own players, and both Hiko and Whitmer are going to end up being brought down to 19 HP as a result of it.
Yeah, I like the retaking B, the initiative there. They understood that Ghosts were #1 taking fast banana control, but they weren't committing to a rush. So here we have an opportunity to flash over, and we see those flashes be very effective. Oftentimes, I think the initial kill coming out was unfortunate, and also almost a situation where Ghosts, I think Zekiah almost got 2 kills. Hiko and Whitmer extremely low, Wardell also low, but in terms of numbers and information, we could see, I guess Rogue are in a pretty fair position now, considering they have a worse buy. And our man Whitmer has 19 HP, is holding down B solo, the bomb station here, so we know that they plan on going here.
Buys him a few more seconds, does kind of give away where he's playing from, but he's able to line up the first kill, which is going to be an easy one against Wardell. He was already low He'll back away quickly into the church since he does not have the HP to really take an open battle against anyone right now. So we're just going to hide in here, try to get a superior angle. Again, the timer being brought down incredibly low for Ghost as they're finally going to attempt to go for this plan, and luckily they'll get it this time. But now the 3 other players from Rogue are on the way, ready to start this retake, and they have a decent amount of utility built up on Uber there they can try to use. He's got not only a smoke, but an HE grenade to try and toss back in, and there's the damage there. It goes right underneath Connor, just about 15 away from doing max damage. However, with that used, it does give away quite a bit of their utility, and they're going to have to push back in with not a whole lot of time to play with. Thankfully, plenty of them have kits, so that's not a concern as they move in. Connor just playing peekaboo here as he goes 1, 2, 3. Will finally go down to Hiko, but it doesn't matter as that's won the round on its own regard, and Rix will close it down.
Damn, that was so sick. That was so sick. He played that perfectly. Really nice headshots, too. We get to watch that back. Then he's kind of just spotting, and these are just free pre-fires into positions where he knows that they're going to try to peek him from. All headshots as well. Solid after plant. But 2 things, it's like Rogue left Whitmer alone there, 19 HP, to hold it down with a rifle, and he obviously played it as safe as he possibly could, gets that opening pick, which he's fortunate to do, the information to call for the rotate, but then has to go back into construction and call for his teammates to come in when B's not like very friendly to retaking. And so I wonder why Rogue decided to gamble and make it a 3-1 when they didn't have like total or a lot more information on bottom B, and we're leaving the solo person there in a position where he can't even fight that much. So if Whitmer had 100 HP and he was able to fight a little bit longer and said he got 1 more kill, Ghost wouldn't even have had time to plant because that's how long they've been letting these rounds ride out.
I think maybe it was more of a confidence play with because remember earlier in the round they played aggressively and pushed back out, and they traded a couple kills there when the CTs tried to retake control over old car spot. Maybe they thought with that they were gonna that they just thought that would have pushed them to the other side of the map and made them go for an A play. So tried to gamble it there, and obviously didn't work out. So now in the 4v4 here, Rogue obviously not going to be doing anything aggressive with the buy they have. They'll just sit back and wait for Ghost to push in. Ghost kind of wants to do the same thing, but obviously they're on the T side, so they're going to need to go for a push here in a couple of moments. Seb already claiming 1 kill, I think kind of leads the charge for Ghost inside of the long haul to the apartments there. The others are waiting back over here by Porch, and now Seb starts to lurk his way out. He's got a pretty safe approach. Most of the guys from Rogue are sat back, and yeah, Seb's just going to hop right down, gets the free kill. Whitmer, not really going to be too much of a contest against Wardell either as he rolls up with a MAC-10. And so for Hiko and Shinobi, there's really nothing they can do. Not really much to save, though, either. So we'll see what they try to position for exits or something like that.
Yeah, no, just pretty standard. They walked out. Seb obviously has the most difficult choke point to walk out of. It's just the most terrifying as a terrorist to come out of apartments and clear out pit and stuff like that. But did it in the most safe way possible with no one actually peeking from like somewhere like Graveyard or the bike, which is where a lot of people will stand. Hiko with that no, but is he gonna kill ZK? Got some money in his pocket, not too bad. And now Ghost are actually having like quite a solid T half. Rogue have actually won the pistol and the 2 following anti-ecos, so that means that Ghost have won more rifle rounds and are now in the lead as well. I wouldn't say this map is very CT sided anymore, if at all, and so that's not the worst thing in the world for Rogue, but overall, Ghost playing pretty well.
So we're going to start to see these guys push forward. Shinobi attempts to go for that early deagle shot. Again, he hit on the last round. This time, though, Rix will take him down before he gets any damage done whatsoever. Seb pushing up. Sounds like he knows Whitmer just sitting here, too. Finds him out. So an easy kill against Whitmer. And now the other 3 remain over here on the B bomb site. Very, very straightforward in this round since Rogue is on that full eco. And Ghost will press themselves forward up Banana very, very quickly. Molly sits in their way temporarily, but then smokes into CT. Deep smoke too, so that they don't have to deal with as much attention from like Flower Pot Spot or anything. Wardell swings around, the jumping kill. It's actually Rix that gets that frag. Then Wardell cleans up with a few more after that one. Quick, fast round for Ghost.
Yeah, easy straight up B hit. Good solid play. They had Wardell basically lead out, and he can take a lot more risk with the MAC-10. It's only $1,000. It's disposable, and ultimately you want him to take first contact on everybody. He can at the very least share as much information as he can when he dies, and ideally gets 1 or 2 kills, which he does do. So now we have 3 more rounds left in the half. Rogue only have 5 here. They're going to want these last 3 to make it even competitive moving into round 16. Now, bottom B control is being taken. The nades early on shied them away from pushing through it, but there weren't any players there to absorb that damage. So it's just Whitmer, the only victim right now, who does have an up, so still might be offered up a kill. most of Ghost Gaming set up in halls. Interesting.
Seb again leading the charge at the edge of those halls here, but this is going to be a straight up waterfall probably outside of it. They don't even have another player towards a mid choke point to at least have that one player being the variance. He's way back down at crossroads right now. Initial flashbang is good. They're going to molly up on top of it though, and that's going to cause some problems. They move back in. It's all Rogue for the most part, with one trade from Seb being the exception. The bomb down now as well, and they need that additional support from Rix, but he's nowhere to be seen. Still way back over at crossroads. Wardell is going to fall back, regroup with his teammate. But what's the game plan? There's almost nothing that they can really do here now in a 2v4.
Yeah, they don't. They actually just failed execution completely. They just were like bumped into each other. Halls couldn't get out. And then when you don't, like, it's so important that you have that timing down because that flash doesn't last that long. It's not quite an after image flash, but it bounces out the chimney. It's pretty good, but you don't have like 4 seconds, like a flash popping directly in someone's face to get out when it's trying to blind like 5 different angles. So it gets really, really scary if you aren't able to jump out.
So Wardell headhunting again here as he tries to find at least one player inside of pit so they can make this round a bit expensive, but just as he went for the shot there, oh, okay, Hiko is apparently going to kill Whitmer, and then he follows it up by taking down Rix. I guess he just got scared. He just straight up shot at his teammate inside a library, so a little bit odd there, but okay. Rounds around for Rogue.
It was a nice shot.
Yeah.
Full buy up. We're going to have, does Wardell have an op still? Actually, I don't know. I think he might not. Yeah, he could just get in the second kill in the round, so. Yeah, so solid hold, but they made it easy for him. There's nothing really said about that. Goes just like a dough moment where they're like, okay, you know, this is the stuff we're supposed to perfect in dry runs, so it doesn't happen, right?
Yeah. So they don't end up making that work at all. They go back to the default split, essentially. Give it a couple players down below crossroads to make sure that nobody from Rogue successfully pushes out from Banana. They'll take that Hall's control, get themselves in position here to try to abuse anybody over here at Long Hall early on. Not going to find anyone there. Rogue have gone back to a relatively passive setup themselves, at least in terms of the Hall's control. They have pushed out over here to the porch position again, though, and they've smoked the other side. So they're setting up to stop most of the mid-choke point pressure. Wardell, though, is going to get the opening kill on Whitmer, and he was solo defending B despite being that far out. So that leaves that site wide open for the taking, and now as a result of that, we are going to have to see a quick rotate from Hiko. Seb catching another player, and then Connor quickly changing it up as he finds an additional pickup there against Uber. Great setup from Ghost to find multiple kills from multiple different positions, so it's constantly keeping Rogue guessing about where this setup is going to go next. It's all on Hiko now, though, in a 1v5. He starts it out with the first kill, quickly has to fall back, and they're just going to send the bomb the other way. They know exactly where this last player is at now, so they can completely circumvent him. He is going to hear these players pushing arches, and he lines up for Seb. Knows one went over to the left, too. He definitely heard some footsteps over there, so he knows exactly where Connor went. And he's just going to completely ignore him as well after taking a short battle. Smoke in the way, tries to spray past it, but it's just before it fades, actually, so it gives away his position again. And not only that, but they're just going to re-smoke it on porch side. He doesn't care, though. He's on a mission, pushing right through it. The flashbang actually hit the player in Graveyard, too, so he's going to get one more kill before finally being put down by Wardell.
That was a solid attempt, just running the gauntlet on every player in one-on-ones. Yeah, I mean, he knew exactly what was up. As soon as he was the last person alive, they obviously got destroyed in their defaults. 2 players in halls had great angles and got those headshots very, very easily. Were very difficult to heal. And Rogue bit on just that B pressure immediately. I think they expected there to be, because there was that B pressure in that earlier round, that there was going to be like 5 players up at B, but there was actually there's still 2 in halls, which is a good setup from Ghost.
Early flashes are good, but Rix doesn't push forward far enough to take advantage upon it here, so Shinobi will get to survive for a couple more seconds at the very least. Still gets taken out by Connor quickly. Seb again. Almost a perfect record, I think, at going into halls there and trying to get that first kill. He's doing a fantastic job. So once again, another early advantage goes by the way of Ghost, and they're looking strong at this point to push up to a 9-6 halftime scoreline here. Just a few more kills stand in their way after Wardell gets that frag. Hiko's here again, still left alive here. He's going to be working with Uber, who doesn't have much to play with, granted. Uber only has the 5-7, but as Connor sneaks in, you can see again that deeper smoke, but Uber, he's going to take advantage upon that. Uses the 5-7 to knock him out. Now he has an AK, but that again, same as the last run, is just going to send the bomb the other direction over into the A-bomb site where Ghost have already cleared a large portion of it. Hiko was trying to chase down the bomb carrier there at the end, but they just made it away.
They're actually looping around back through CT. Bombs getting planted. 2 teammates out here. Bomb's not planted for teammates in CT, which is kind of the only out right now for Rogue, who have 2 players alive on a typical round they just save in this situation. So we're going to go for Hail Mary retake of Wardell whipping a shot, but the crossfire is too strong. Ricks with a spray down and a round on the board for Rogue, or Ghost.
Yeah, so with that said, folks, it's going to be a 9-6 lead for Ghost coming off their T side here on Inferno. Do stick with us, and we'll be back with the second half in just a few moments to see if they can keep it going on the CT side.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
Welcome back once more, folks, to the ESL Pro League. Rogue versus Ghost is well on its way to being completed here in just a couple of moments. And obviously, we're in the second map now, just completed the first half. We're going to see how the second half fares up. It's a little bit different this time. We did have Rogue in the lead back on Cash, but here on Inferno, it's Ghost that take the edge as they lead coming off their T side with a 9-6 advantage.
It's still kind of hard for me to tell who's going to win. You feel that way too?
It was very back and forth in that first half, to be honest.
Yeah.
Ghost only should have had like right at the very end there, so it really could go either way here, depending on pistol winner.
Yeah, there was like a fair amount of mistakes on Cash in the first half as well that it made it unclear as to who was going to who run away with it in the second half. And on Inferno, I kind of feel the same way, where it's hard to say, I guess, who like decisively played better. Obviously, Rogue just has like straight up more rounds, or Ghost has straight up more rounds, which is really nice. But I don't think T side is going to stop Rogue from winning this game. I guess one thing about this is that Rogue did win the pistol, so that is one thing that's counting against them, considering how many rounds Ghost do have. 4 to B, set it up. They have Ricks to go peek mid, and just to make sure that nobody's actually running up, and it looks like they're actually committing up here. Wow, nice shot from Whitmer.
Doesn't last very long, though. Connor hits just as nice of a shot from a bigger range. Ricks is actually going to follow it up with a second one here enough for the CT side, too, to keep Ghost in the lead for now. Shinobi is going to try to quickly change that. Chases down Ricks, but he hops away, gets himself outside the long haul. However, he's going to go back in. He wants to take the battle. He's going to swing out, and there you go. Just snipes out another player. Uber goes away. He gets eliminated, and Ghost continue to hold the advantage. Now bringing this down to a 4v2 and really trying to crunch, but both Shinobi and Hiko hold on. Shinobi takes quite a bit of damage, which ZQK is going to try to punish, but hold on now. Shinobi gets that kill. Oh! And how the turntables.
How the turntables. Oh my gosh. What just happened? 2 players alive, they both get their kills at mid, no problem. Yeah, and then both players peek mid, end up dying, and one of them just was like on one shot the entire time. There's not much strat. I mean, that's Counter-Strike, right? There's not as much strategy involved. I mean, hit your shot, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
So interesting round, but it does go by the way of Rogue, and that's now going to give them a chance to immediately tie the scoreline up, assuming obviously they don't get upset in this second round force buy from Ghost. Pretty standard force from them. Not everybody going all the way with the force, though. We have ZQK and Wardell who just buy the Deagles. They don't try to pick up armor or any really, large amounts of additional utility behind that. Wardell, you could see he was trying to push through the mid choke point a few seconds ago. They really wanted to try and press his luck, and he might have found Vice if he continued down that path. But he's kind of missed his opportunity. Vice has got his back turned right now, though. This could be a timing thing. And yep, Wardell does sneak in there, finds Vice. Not sure if he was looking towards it to contest it, but does 0 damage to Wardell. And now clears out the A site and should give clearance for these guys to rotate. I think that's exactly what's happening. Still more from Ghost waiting on the B site, though. Actually, they call off that rotate. They did have all 3 from Ghost committing over here towards the B site. But for whatever reason, Ghost did call for that off. So they're going to keep those 3 guys towards A, and that could become problematic, especially as the smoke starts to fade. They spot more presence moving in. Connor getting 1-7, hasn't fired a single shot just yet, but when his time comes, misses. Only gets some good damage going, and Connor can't pick anything else up either when they push against him. So they clear the site, they even it back up into a 3v3, but massive damage done to 2 of the players on Rogue. Uber only at 15 and Shinobi at 1. Hiko, the only full HP player remaining, probably going to have to do most of the heavy lifting in this post plant here. There's no reason why Ghost really wouldn't want to try and go in and attempt this, or at least try to trap the players in. Here we go, spawning Hiko. ZQK taking most of the heat right now, but Mordell missing his opportunity. ZQK now very low too. We've yet to see Rix do anything yet as he's waiting for his opportunity to toss in that molly, and there we go. That'll end Shinobi's life at the very least. Changes the position for Hiko. He's got enough to play with now on Rix, his own end. Now Rix does not have a kit either, so while he has trapped these players in the site, probably going to be able to kill them in that regard at the very least. There we go, quickly gets those 2 kills. Does not have enough time to defuse the bomb, and he's also going to die in the explosion, but at least make sure everybody on that T side, or excuse me, on that CT side ends up going down.
Yeah, Rix just took way too long. He just took way too long to get to the site. They had a great chance to win the round. 2 players extremely low on B, but when you saw the Deagles, Deagle's one of the most unreliable guns to just get 1 bullet in at a time. So like a CZ in either for all 3 players would have been much better considering how low their opponents were. And Rick's the only man with the CZ, got there like last by a long shot. So ultimately, he probably had to clear out B and was worried about that. But full eco on a B from the CTs. They push down and pretty much get ripped. Only 1 kill now. Vice is dead, and suddenly it gets kind of ugly.
1v2 here now as Rick's going to try to clutch it out. He has him lined up, but Hiko, thankfully, his opponent runs out of bullets, and that is going to let Hiko close in on the final kill there, bring it up to 9-9. But still, 5 players lost in the 2nd round, 4 players lost in the 3rd round. Economically speaking, Rogue are in a very bad place right now if they lose this first gun round.
Yeah, economically very bad. Definitely a lot of good damage done by Ghost, whether or not they win those rounds, and Rick's obviously getting those cleanup kills on both those rounds. However, Ghost don't have a kit here, and Rogue have full utility. Going to be a difficult one to win. That bomb goes down. Very low chance of actually getting a defuse, most likely. So Wardell picking mid. Smoke's a little late. Capitalizes on Shinobi jumping out before it plumes. Big misstep. 5v4 now for Ghost.
Early edge to them as they push ahead with 5v4. Now for Rogue, with their 4 players remaining, it seems like they're going to go pretty straightforward about this. Although pushing into either the halls or up to this mid choke point now, as you can see Whitmer in that position. But nobody actually trying to take a huge amount of control just yet. Just lining up their players at the edge of the long haul here. Nobody from the CT side is caught pushing into it, but they do have Rix waiting on the outside on top. He's going to be flashed, though, but still gets that first frag, and now drops into the pit, ready for more. He's not going to be given that opportunity, though, as Hiko does take him down. Vice also sniping out ZQK, but Wardell with at least 1 trade keeps the numbers advantage going strong for Ghost. And I think they're just going to wait for the rotate before Wardell pushes back in it all. It's fine, let them get away with a plant here. Their money's in a bad spot anyway. Even with that plant, there's probably not going to be enough cash for a full rebuy if both these guys end up dying. So Vice has to play it out aggressively, and he gets a very important kill. Here's the thing, though. Takes a lot of damage, and now at 2 HP, he goes not faring much better at 4. Both the players at Ghost pretty much at full HP when you look at Wardell and Seb over there. Oh, no, Vice! Oh, an actual 1G, and then Seb is going to take down Hiko to close out on the round for Ghost, and they should have plenty of time for this defuse.
Oh, damn Angs. Damn Angs, man.
Oh.
That's great.
You hate to see it.
You hate, that's what I mean.
So now with that, Ghost is able to take back their advantage. Here we go. Here's the... you can tell the immediate regret, too. He just tries to run away.
Dude. I don't even know. I mean, how does it even bounce directly back at him?
I don't know.
That's rough, man. That's actually really rough.
Wardell, he's going to be peeking back out, though. Try to see if he can get that early kill with the op once more. He does get smoked, however, so he'll have to fall around over towards the wrap side. And for Rogue, most of their players aren't even going to be heading in that direction. Looks like they've got a pretty solid push working its way up towards B. You'll note they did force buy into this round too, so just buying everything they can. It's not much. It does give them 3 pistols in their buy next to those 2 rifles, one of them being a Galil, but decent utility. It's actually way more than I was expecting them to have.
Yeah, not doing too bad. Again, station up. B, do we have Seb boosted? That's the only reason I could see Connor being here at the moment. Now he's actually peeking. Yeah, there is Seb up top. Very common position to be in. Does a little bit of damage, but now can get sprayed. Actually gets away with his life. Very fortunate to do so. Doesn't get a kill, however. The plan will go down. It's 5v5. They don't have a lot of utility to hold on, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easy to retake.
And as such, everyone from Ghost will be wrapping back in to attempt this retake. Like we said before, Ghost still have a pretty big gun advantage, but as they move back in, and as the players from Rogue now go onto the defensive here, that gun advantage continues to dwindle away a little bit. Good shots from Connor and Wardell, though, bring back the man advantage into the favor of Ghost, and they're going to start to use the rest of their utility to push back into this site. Hiko sitting by Emo corner here, going to try to keep himself in the fight, gets one, quickly traded up by Connor, and now it's down to second player in Emo. Vice with one pickup for himself. Uber trying to peek back out, gets one. Can he stop the defuse in time though, as it's well on its way? He can't even figure out where that player's at, so he's gonna give up and run away and just let Ghost win the round. Yeah, that's tough. The smoke defuse is good. Uber had a good chance there, was able to bait out the shot from Wardell. That was really nice. Overall, the beat hit went really smoothly, getting in, avoiding getting any deaths. As a terrorist is very fortunate and kind of evens the playing field when you don't have a lot of utility, so didn't really know who was going to win in the afterplan in that situation, even though B is the harder site with so many resources available to Ghost. And it's probably best that they won, considering they had the best chance going into the round versus the buy. And we see another kind of like tattered buy from Rogue, which we've seen a few of these, but it's probably due to the fact that they're worried about getting reset once again, or have expected to get reset. But I feel like if you can buy, I don't see the money, but if you could buy 3 armor AKs, then if you saved one round, wouldn't you be in a much better spot to have like a successful buy? But I don't know if that's true. I think maybe Whitmer and Shinobi went the selfless route and actually dropped the AKs so that their teams could armor up. So it's a big stack, 4 players trying to push themselves up Banana again, and Ghosts are not going to directly contest it this time. They'll just let Rogue take the control of top Banana here. Bit of a whiff flash that does end up hitting Uber head on, but still, they get that control for free. Now they have to decide what they want to do. Do they want to follow this up? Obviously, you've got Shinobi lurking into A, too. He's already got past mid-choke point and is already up towards Rap side and Arches here. So he's got to decide what he wants to do, and Wardell just looked away from Arches as well. This could work really well for Rogue here if he manages to catch Wardell and not looking here. You have to be careful of Rix, too. You should be able to hear him, though. Yeah, hear his footsteps. So he's going to go looking for him. Shinobi just trying to hunt for any kills that he can get right now. But having this advanced position in library is going to be really, really good. Yeah, it's super important. You can call, if your team doesn't have a lot of time to move, though, however, B-hit comes out. The bomb is here, too. I think they know he's going to be inside of the library. Did they kill him? Yeah, they killed him as well. Yeah, that's tough. So now it's all done to Hiko. Not a whole lot left that he can do either. It's only got 20 seconds left to plant the bomb. The bomb's a little bit further away from him. He's getting mollied out. Moves in. At the very least, catches Rix the nade out, so free kill there. But he's trapped in a rock at a hard place, and Seb will take him out to give the round to Ghost. So obviously in that position, Shinobi has a rotator spot. That means they can catch people coming from B or to B. But the thing is, with 30 seconds left and all of his teammates stationed at top Banana, there wasn't really anyone to help him move that along, and he is kind of expected to make a move at some point. So with the B hit coming in, he couldn't really get a kill early. Instead, he had to go off of the execute to try to seal one up, and not exactly sure what happened. There's Will Whitmer getting melted by 4 nades, the immediate push down bid on this anti-eco. Yeah, and Ghost is going to try to crush this round really quickly here. They've already brought it down to 2 players. The remaining 2 are probably just going to hide a little bit here, see if they can get sneaky themselves and pick up a kill or 2. If they can't, not a big deal, as this was just a eco round anyway. But Ghost wanted to make sure that they could get a little bit of shock value and also just end this round quicker too, so it gives Rogue less talk time to figure out what they want to do in their next gun round. Yeah, less talk time. It's nice. Sometimes here they have 5 alive. They have the utility advantage. They play that advantage to make it difficult for like the one choke point that they're pushing into for terrorists to jump out of. And they stick together. It's also just really demeaning, demoralizing, I guess. As a terrorist, if you know the other team is comfortable rushing down mid at you, that can put you in a bad place mentally. So there is something to be said about that as well. Even though, like, the safest option obviously is like to sit and wait. Well, this will transition us now into Rogue's first big gun round in quite a while, since they have been going for those 4 spies. And it's going to give them an op on Whitmer, including the 4 AKs. Pretty much full utility for everybody on the team, too. So definitely enough to make a hit. Problem is Ghosts are not making their lives easy, as they've thrown quite a bit of their own utility down Banana here. They're going to re-smoke the edge of it, and it's pretty much served its purpose. It's going to funnel them through mid-choke point and force them into making a play here. But they didn't rotate that other player away from B, so it's still left room for Rogue to actually execute and get control over the A site, but Wardell takes a big risk, and it does not pay off. Whitmer meets him over there, peeking from porch side, takes down Wardell, and gives a man advantage to Rogue, leaving only those B players left alive. Seb and Connor are going to have to push back in. They have a smoke and a molly to play between the two of them, though, so they have a little bit of utility, but that molly's just going to be tossed away over here at porch side right after the smoke was thrown against them, too. So boost over it, see if they can see anyone. It's not the best vision for Seb, but he sees the player at Broken Wall and tags him quite a bit. Knocks his head off nearly. Takes him down to 3 HP. And now they know they're pushing in from this side. The smoke will go over the bomb. They have a second smoke to cover it too. Whitmer gets out in the open though, and Uber finds a second player behind the hay bale before he can sneak up on that bomb.
Yeah, really good job jumping into action in a situation where the bomb is about to get smoked out from your 2 choke points, and actually realizing you've probably got to take the fights just in case it gets hairy and someone gets away with sticking it. But and also knowing that your teammate on site is going to be in a position where he's the only one who can fight safely. And yeah, they did the best they could in that 2vx situation. I'm surprised that Rogue were able to get up mid though. Like Ghost had the op at Arch, they had 3 players there ready for it, and the failure to trade, and obviously our teammate up on apps or up on balcony just getting killed for free. That's a really rough spot to, and it's tough because like he should have just stayed alive. He got killed with a molly out, and you could say, well, Rogue did a good job of like moving really quickly, but him not being prepared for it raises some questions. And I basically wouldn't expect Rogue to be able to get away with it twice, but I think it's good that they really committed hard enough to it that they were able to catch people off guard, which is like the value of a rush in the first place.
Well, Rogue maybe trying to go in similar fashion to the site this time, obviously just not as quick. They have 3 players already aligned to try and go through mid-choke here. The bomb being kept at the very top of alt-mid, with their 2 other players heading into apps right now. So definitely favoring an A play, but there's nothing stopping them from falling back, as we've seen this plenty of times in the past. Multiple teams doing the same thing. They throw a little bit of pressure at mid-choke point, sneak maybe just 1 or 2 guys through it, and send everybody back towards Banana. And that's, to some degree, what they're going to be doing now. As you can see, both Shinobi and I think Hiko pushing up in that direction.
Posted up now, waiting for some kind of retake on mid, and you know, with the control of their Molotovs and stuff, have flushed people out of the more tough to get to positions, and are really just waiting for a regression as they maybe make some presence on B, which could help them do that. And looks like Shinobi might start lurking here. Also baited a reaction, yeah.
Yeah, Shinobi's actually going to be a little bit troublesome to try and push back in. Left alone, Connor swings out, takes him down, but this was the bait to keep these guys in the site, so now they just have to execute properly on A. And so far they're doing quite a good job. Rix tries to sneak out a kill from over there at the broken wall and pit, but doesn't find anything. So despite the loss of Shinobi, it's only 1 man down. And at the end of the day, Seb and Connor are left with really nothing to do but sit back and call for the save. Rogue is going to get themselves an 11th.
So I actually think that what Rogue didn't make that much sense, because Shinobi hits B at the same time they hit A. So if his function is to hold people on the site, well, they wouldn't have moved in that exact second anyways. And if he wanted to lurk, he could have waited to hear footsteps as they pulled out of the site, or he could have gone earlier to try to pull someone from A towards him. But going at the exact same time, what does that really do? Maybe potentially you catch someone thinking about moving in that moment, and but that seems like pretty risky. I don't know.
So shoots Rogue up to 11, as we were saying before, and now is going to trigger a pause from the side of Ghost here. Since things are not going so smoothly anymore, they also don't have a decent advantage really going in their favor anymore either here. Rogue is very much closed the gap, and it's now just 2 rounds away from a tie.
Yeah, it's actually weird because it looks like their A setups are fine, or they're in like pretty standard spots, but they're failing on like their really important guys. Like their pit guy is going to be the most critical one. Sometimes you can have a round where all of Arch is wrapped or lane is taken, the bomb goes down, and someone's still alive in pit. That's how like solid that spot is. You have so much to work off of, and usually want to put like your strongest A player there. And he's just like dying on Balk or getting killed in pit without getting an initial kill when he should be expected to get like 1, 2 plus stay alive. So I think it's actually coming down to mechanical failures on the part of Ghost when it comes to their A hits. But yeah, like the initial part of the round was Rogue setting up Crossfire at mid with bracket control and then just waiting for them to push. That never happened. They're just like, okay, let's hit A, and they win. You know?
Yeah. And it's going and it just magically works.
Yeah.
Even though they lose 1 player over by B, it works to keep those guys in the site at the very least, stops a potential early rotate from happening. Just makes it an easy 4v3 on the site push for them. So quick pause from Ghost, and we get back into the action here. It's not going to leave them with the greatest buy, however. It looks like they did decide to force into this round. So Seb and Connor are going to end up with rifles. Wardell has to go down to a scout, and the other two will work with pistols. Not as much utility either. Really like 2 smokes and 2 mollies to play with. That's about it. Slow play again from Rogue, though, as they want to be cautious, and you can see Wardell looking for this early scout shot. He's no problem playing aggressively out by this mid-choke since he has that extra movement. Speed on the scout there. His first target and only target really would probably be Uber. You can see him just shooting away and tries to re-peek for the shot that would actually land this time, but Whitmer is going to be out in the open now, ready to take the duel against him, and he'll claim his first victim for this round. ZQK, I think, is going to test his luck again here in a second, too. But nope, just goes about across. The rest of Rogue pretty casually walking up Banana right now. There's not going to be any resistance here at all. Ghosts do have a bit of a crossfire setup, but it's probably going to get knocked off pretty easily due to a CT smoke that we would expect to move in here in a couple moments. Connor's going to have to reposition, and that puts pretty much all of the pressure onto Seb once Connor decides to swing out, and he does to a certain degree. Gets tagged, though. Loses about half of his HP in the process. Throws the molly back, is going to at the very least delay the hit from Rogue. Gives him time to reposition, I believe probably towards like Crips or something like that.
Oh, interesting. Rix is actually still alive and in the back of Alt, and they have killed someone at mid. But the mid guy got a little bit of information, and it looks like Roger's starting to move back to the side of the map. So Rix has a critical spot, but he can't move fast enough to actually capitalize here, and doesn't have a good enough gun as well.
Yeah, and Uber just tears apart both the players in the B bomb site too, so...
That's when you take both sides.
Yeah, so all of a sudden Rix is just left alone, not a whole lot left to do.
Yeah, Rix actually had like an amazing spot, except his teammates didn't hold B, and the Rogue went up A too quickly. So now it was just useless all of a sudden. Pretty interesting. If they were able to delay a little bit longer, his teammate didn't die at mid, for example, he could have flanked B, or they could have taken it longer to get to A, and he could have actually shot someone in the back. So
now he just ends up with an AK and some armor. So probably going to try to save this. He knows players are going to push him, though. He got that AK. Gets at least one more kill to add to the counter, but ultimately will go down to Vice in the second 1v1. As Rogue now just one round away from tying it, and Ghost, again, in a situation where they really can't get the greatest buy here. It's probably going to end up being a half buy for pretty much every player.
Yeah, and they're not just one round away from tying it. They're actually like they're actually like dominating Ghost, and it's like, I don't even know what Ghost needs to do at A, just on their standard stuff, just to hold. Potentially their counter needs to be better, but like it's like Rogue are attacking both B and A very comfortably, and they're probably giving them too much space. I think Rogue definitely fought for map control a lot better than they did. Here we have a round that's, you're not going to see counter nades because there aren't any for Ghost. So it's like one of those situations where the team on the save actually still has a pretty good chance of winning, because it's not their aim that's being the big problem. And they have put together one eco in this half, right?
Shinobi's first up here. So he pushes around. But Ghost are also going to be playing close to the chest now. They got both Connor along with Seb out here. Connor, just no luck for Connor.
Yeah, never lucky.
So he's going to get flashed out. It's tagged through the smoke, and then finally commits to the peak while he's got like 5 HP. Easily goes down. Shinobi's going to check for Seb. Actually, no, I thought he was checking for Seb, but apparently not. So Seb gets away with the first one. He's going to have trouble doing more than that, though. And we saw Vice trading the kill back over here on the other side of the map, so he was able to find Rix trying to sneak out and do that flank again. Not going to be as successful this time, but the presence of Seb at the very least is enough to scare Rogue away. Sends them back into mid. Wardell taking a big risk there, but him and ZQK working together. They get Hiko at the very least, so some damage being done. At least keeping the money low for Rogue. And now they're finally going to commit to the site. Problem is, though, both players are like one tap by these AKs. So there's the first kill. There's the second kill. And for Seb, there's not a whole lot that he can do. He's got a Mac 10, so might as well just try and go fight these players.
Yeah, some damage. Oh, another kill. That's just, there's only 3 up. Oh, he can recover the op as well. And from this point, doesn't want to look to do any more damage. Definitely wants to hold on to this as long as possible. And Rogue don't seem to want to get too aggressive from their position either. I think even though they have like quite a bit more money than Ghost at this point, they have been dying, but yeah, they're still doing pretty good. So it's going to be 13-13. We're going to have a buyout for both teams in op as well, in a situation where I don't think Ghost would have been able to afford it. No, 4-round loss. Maybe they would have, but now get to hang on to an extra like $5 grand, which is nice. And moving into the last few rounds of the half, the economy is going to be critically important. But the biggest problem for Ghost is that right now Rogue are having a pretty pretty solid adjustment period where they've kind of figured out how to bust open Ghost's defenses. A lot of it has to do with A, and I think we need to see on this round, or we should watch for, in particular, the counter nade usage from Ghost Gaming, especially if Rogue do hit A.
So indeed a full buy for Ghost, and not only do they now get the up that they scavenged from the previous round, but they buy into a second one too. So they're going to go all in on the double op setup this time and see if it plays out for them. And it's great that they can do that too, because I mean they get armor behind both those ops. They don't have to, they don't have to race like glass cannon. They don't even have to sacrifice utility really. So that op pickup was a pretty big bonus for Ghost. And just another default split for the most part from Rogue to open up the round. Not going to be trying to move in and take too much control. Similar story for Ghost, though. They don't really try to risk anything. They're not really going to be pushing out anywhere except for porch side. Nor are they going to try to move in and take banana control. They've been relatively passive about banana for most of this half anyway. Same for Rogue, granted, but...
No, yeah, like, and this is why it became meta at the end of Old Inferno to play like 4-1 whenever possible and just try to take banana control early on, because A was just like much more important to hold, or much easier to hold, and you can get all that information on B with an op, for example. So here we're having like a 2-3 and the rotate is forever, and that means that if the A site players are like fail because either counter nades or they're just not hitting shots, well then they're not going to get support, and the retake is going to be near impossible. And yeah, brackets control given up, top banana control given up. They've been very static, and it seems like they don't like to go off tendencies either, where they, like on Cash, they knew that it was going to be, or that it had been a B split 3 times in a row, but they continually stacked A because they were like kind of outplaying themselves in their head, like, all right, they're not going to do it again. But instead, Rogue are taking the method of just doing what works.
Look at the time, too. 20 seconds left. They're still split 3-2, so they're definitely going to do some sort of fake towards A, but they're not going to have a whole lot of time for that fake before they actually go into the site. And now, well, neither push is going really well, to be completely honest here. They snuck one player through arch side, but now only 10 seconds left. There goes the bomb. Oh, Connor just hits the nasty no-scope and take down Whitmer. This round's over. No way Shinobi's doing anything about this one. Gotta make sure he stays alive here too, so his economy doesn't get messed up. He's safe to do that at least, but Ghost is gonna win the round, and they win it with 5 alive.
That's super messy. Like they had top banana for free, absolutely no counter nades at the beginning of the round. They had top bracket for free, like they have been used to getting, and they went and scoped it out. And even with that, took until 3 seconds left in the round to actually get the bomb close enough to be planted. Why, Blue?
I don't know.
Why? You have basically all the information that's like that a team will give you a lot of trouble for getting on Inferno. That's like super valuable to use a terrorist, and beyond that didn't execute until it was too late. They were allowed to, Blue. They could have.
I don't know. Just
tell me.
For whatever reason, they don't feel the need to push into that site until the end of it. I guess earlier in their half, Ghosts were playing a little bit more aggressive, or yeah, Ghosts were playing a little bit more aggressive, like towards banana and whatnot, but it was happening kind of later before they were about to execute. So I guess they were kind of waiting for that 1 or 2 players to push against them. That was usually happening in past rounds. This time, though, we just see none of that from Ghosts. They just sit back, as you were saying, super static CT side, and Rogue just never got the players pushing them that they were expecting to find. So eventually just had to push it in, but either lost track of the time or bad judgment call.
So it seems like the one difference is that on that streak of rounds that Rogue got, they always went A. And here they pretty much had the same setup, except they decided to go B. And let's say they executed a little bit earlier and had more time to plant. Well, they still got, their B players were a lot stronger and were able to hold on to the site. I wouldn't be surprised if Rogue go back to basics. And the thing is, Ghost, I don't expect them to play any less static than they have been, just because it seems like they're really afraid to get information on CT side. But, oh, actually, Connor?
It's the exact opposite. No.
He's peeking now, and then, yeah, but see, like, he's peeking, and then he falls back immediately. There's no smoke bottom banana, there's no carpet Molotovs, there's just peek for information. You don't get information, you go back to the site, well, you gave up all this line of sight on banana.
They were peeking mid choke points too, so they actually were really aggressive in the first like couple seconds. But as you said, that was only for those first couple seconds. They fall back pretty quickly.
See, if you get it gets more and more risky the longer you stay out there. But if you don't get the kill, well, you have nothing to bring home. You have like the whole point is that you get that 5v4 early so that you can play passive because they only have 4 players to execute as opposed to 5.
And over towards B, it gives you the possibility to split for that 4-1 as well, and then kind of have the early rotator move over to A in the event that they decide to go into that other site. But without that pressure, Rogue are free to push themselves up banana. In a moment, they're going to push past the half wall here, get that free control there. They don't really need to do this, as they should be realizing this by this point that there's like almost no defense set up here, but more of a formality than anything. And not only that, but Shinobi, I think, wants to get up here so we can toss that molly into the site. Let's burn it out. I'm not sure if that molly actually hits, or on top of something else, but as they go in, he's allowed 2 shots. For whatever reason, though, neither player from Rogue realizes it. And now Uber's going to be moving in there. Another missed shot from Connor. He's kind of just taking pot shots now, hoping he hits something, but nothing connecting. That'll give Rogue the 5v4 advantage, but we will start to see Ghost move in on the retake, trying to build up for the boost on the flower pot too. That's not going to happen as we see the body laying on the ground. And I think Ghost are going to have to call this one off and just let Rogue take it. Yeah,
there's a good Molotov from Rogue to Molly quad, and it put our man Seb, I think, in an awkward spot where he had to smoke himself out. And it was Seb or ZQK, I'm not sure, but he didn't have much angle to work with when they came in the left side of the site. And I mean, you know, there's a world where Connor hits both those shots, and it's a completely different round. Like, it was just a straight up B defense against a B hit that was given to them because there was no early on, no pressure early on. And you know, even if they only did early nade damage, that would have been something. But if you've got 2 players and you've got to defend against what's going to be a straight up B hit, that sucks. And
this sucks even more.
This is it's you. Yeah, that's. And it's funny, they didn't even turn around. That's kind of the best part.
They just let them take their shots. And
Boy, this is a little messy, but yeah, it's 14-14, round 28. So early nade down, no one peeks mid right away. They're finally taking control of Banana with 3 people and hanging on to it momentarily. Let's see if Rogue just wait them out and then walk up. But yeah, the smoke down bottom Banana. That top Banana smoke, I think, was actually was Rogue's. But yeah, they shy away from it. This is kind of like they're going through the motions, but they're not actually getting anything done, really. Like, what do they even do? They baited more utility almost out of themselves than they were able to do from Rogue.
Yeah,
so.
Usually you would keep Seb out there as well to throw the second smoke into the site, but they don't even do that. Usually you wait for that second deep smoke to go out before you rotate the 4th guy over day.
And the other thing is that if you don't constantly like put pressure on these places and then test them and stuff like that, they're going to become like weaker. You know, they're going to like peak things without taking it seriously. Like, you could definitely get away with a lot of aggressive kills if the team is so used to you being passive. And they're not taking advantage of that either. So missed opportunities.
So still 2 smokes to try and block Wardell off or molly him out anyway. He misses the first shot though, tries to take it through the crypt box. It doesn't work out. The flashbang's a little bit better, but still there's nothing he can do to contest the initial hit. If he tries to peek it, he's for sure going to be a dead man, and at best gets a 1-for-1 trade, especially considering he's the offer. So we just have to sit back, let his team rotate over, and get in position now for a 5v5 retake.
Okay, so at least Rogue have no utility after that execute, but they don't have any Molotovs anymore. Oh, so that 1 Molotov gets them a kill, however.
Yeah, does burn out Vice, gets him into the open. Shinobi gonna be blind here on top of the box too, so he's gonna be a little bit fidgety. Connor and Rix both move in for kills. Hiko, Whitmer, the last 2 left alive. Both are gonna get kills though, and Whitmer finds another one. The main focus is on Hiko right now, but even he's still staying alive. Great recovery from Rogue. Wardell hits the shot, but it's not a kill. Follows it up with 1 more. We're down to the 1v1. Wardell has to go back for the kill. It's actually a pretty big mistake. Throws the smoke onto the ground. He gets hit, but it's not a kill. He goes looking for it. There we go. He does get the knife just at the last second to give the round to Rogue.
Oh my god, he even hit him through the wall. Oh my gosh, if he had not got that kill, what a travesty. Wardell actually hit him in the smoke too. Went into full clutch mode at the very end of that, but overall a solid after plant from both, or from Rogue. And yeah, that's just like, that's when you're just terrified. That's Monka-esque.
Please find him. Please find him.
Exactly.
So pause is going to be called. I'm assuming that's from Ghost for obvious reasons. Or it's actually from Rogue, excuse me. As they do get to push ahead now, and they will go to round 30, 15-14 to decide if we head to OT or if Rogue will take a 2-0 for this evening.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll happen. It's really tough to say just based on those last 2 B hits, just because they're so tumultuous. There's like, as the retake's happening, you're like, I'm not exactly sure who's going to win the round. Obviously, the guys who got the bomb plant down and still have 4 players alive look like they're going to take it, but then Ghost comes through with like what looks like a solid retake, and then Whitmer and Hiko get so many kills apiece. And so I think the big problem for Rogue, however, or for Ghost, is that they allowed for the full B hit to come out. Wardell got completely smoked out, was not able to get a kill. And if they do end up in a situation like that again, well, now they don't have as much utility to retake. Yeah.
Well, Ghost end up getting themselves an interesting force buy. 2 FAMASs, an UMP, a CZ for ZQK, and a glass cannon up buy on Wardell. Mixed utility. It's not the greatest. They end up with 3 smokes, a single Molotov, and some flashbangs just tossed all over their players. So we're going to have to see if it'll be enough to hold. lot of that pressure is going to have to come from Wardell more than likely, but he's going to have to be careful himself. Even he can't play out too much. And they give him the big job of being the solo B defender with that glass cannon op. So should Rogue decide to head in that direction again, he's going to have to do quite a bit of work to open an opportunity for his team to retake coming in from that other site.
Yeah, I do actually like him playing dedicated in the site and having like just a 4 stack here. This just looks a lot stronger to me, even though it's like a terrifying situation for everyone on Ghost because they've got way worse guns. So that's going to be the difficult part for sure. Back control getting taken, and Rogue not expending a lot of utility knowing that Ghosts are on a force.
And Seb playing close up too. He's going to try to swing back out, tries to go for a kill. He lights up Vice, but is not actually going to be able to get the frag. And now Shinobi looking the other way here. Looked like for a second ZKK was going to be able to swing out for free and get a kill for himself, but no, something around that corner though sends everybody from Rogue in the other direction. All 5 of them are going to head back down through mid. Actually, they're just going to give up on this despite Connor re-peeking there too. They'll split a little bit. Shinobi's going to try to keep this hit alive. But ultimately, they call off this A play and are instead just going to swing quickly up Banana, try to head into the B bomb site. To a certain degree, this is working, though, because now Shinobi can sit in the way and kind of delay the rotators a little bit. He's already got 1 kill here. Wardell misses his first shot, too, so that's bad news for him. He just gets ripped to shreds by Vice. Connor does take down Shinobi, but it's too late. Normally, obviously, they would be saving here, but it's round 30. And they're going to have to try and go for this 2v4, now a 1v4, as Whitmer has found the op shot to take down Connor. Rix, he'll be sneaking back up, trying to see what he can do with no utility, just has to drag peek this and hope he gets lucky to find players out in the open. They give him potential duels. There's one, finds Uber. He does not have a kit either, so his time is very, very limited here. And eventually, yep, goes down to Hiko, and that's going to give it to Rogue as they take control of map number 2, 16-14 as it goes all the way. And with that second map going under their wing, they'll be able to take a 2-0 for the evening, as they also took the earlier map on Cash.
Yeah, definitely a barn burner. And then that last round, it was good. It seemed a little bit messy, obviously, the quick adaptation, but when they sniffed out the A stack, or had a feeling it would be, running back to B made a lot of sense. I just didn't like how they didn't leave someone at Arch, and then Shinobi came back to pick it up to catch rotators. So that was good at the end, at least.
All right. So with that said, folks, it looks like we have our analysts ready. So we're going to send it over to them to break down the rest of the series.
Hey, thanks, guys. Inferno, much closer of a match. Eric? I'm kidding, but Inferno, seemingly much better Counter-Strike played on both sides of the map.
Yeah. Oh, you want to start? Go ahead, James.
Yeah, actually, I was just so aroused by what you guys were doing on each side of me right there that I just had to talk. So yeah, no, they definitely, each team definitely looked a little bit more composed and like they had a recipe for map control, right? Like obviously Cash, it's not as necessity of a map control type game. Like you don't need to like really fight tooth and nail for Banana on a map like Cash, right? It's not as hard T side to get map control, but both teams looked a lot more orchestrated, and it's just really cool to watch close games like that.
Let's take a look now at round number 7, where we do see a little bit of next level mind games coming out of Ghost.
Yeah, so I like this strat a lot. I picked this one out. It's a really important round because huge reset potential on Rogue. Ghost lost the previous round due to timeout at B, even though they had man advantage. And they pulled this fast porch side hit a la Nip. So this is a video that actually Anders put out, and Nip kind of stole the strat from Anders. And it's just really cool strat. They use this strat on an important round because of the monetary reset. And it's just, you could really see that they have more nuance on this map compared to Cash, where it just looked kind of like guesswork. So I thought this was a cool round to point out.
I'd like to point one thing. I think Launders also pointing this out in the cast. That spam by Seb can only be done if he's in the wall with an op. If you have a rifle, you need to spam it through the window.
From the windows to the walls?
And, from the window to the walls.
Yeah, from windows, walls, till you're not getting that frag and fit. So looking at that, though, I mean, how many times we even saw him do it multiple times?
Yeah, multiple times. So it's, you got to know your spam, man.
It's not always necessarily for damage, but also for making noise. Yeah. And also something that's cool about defaults on any map is that if you're making noise at repeatedly the same point at which you're getting map control, you could also train the CTs into thinking that something similar is going to happen, and then you might not make that similar thing happen again. So
looking at Rogue, though, okay, so they come in, they grab this map 16-14 on Inferno. Let's talk a little bit about their T-side approach.
Did Rogue take that victory?
Yes, it did.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I think the T-side approach, they had the diversification of being able to go B through Arch, right? So Ghost had really good map control, and they had really good kind of like brute force attacks at either A or B. But I think it was Rogue's ability to split B through Arch as an option and really utilize Arch as a portal to A and B. So Ghost had Arch, but not going to B as well as Rogue did.
Well, let's take a look now at round 20 we do have loaded up for you guys at home. It's going to be a retake on B here by Ghost.
So one thing I like about on this retake by Ghost, and the thing that I've been kind of wanting teams to do is to be able to retake bomb site 5-on-5. Even though Rogue has a little bit of, half buy, kind of a poor spy, the Ghost Gaming did not advance until they waited for their teammates and they pushed together. And if they would have probably done it individually, they might have got picked off earlier. It could have been an easy round for a Rogue here, but nice timing as you see over here. Ghost Gaming is pushing up together, methodically, exchanging kills whenever possible. It was right there, you saw a nice exchange, and I like seeing that kind of team play. We need more of that.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you're getting on this train of team play that I've been talking about.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for helping me out there.
Wow, you guys are 2 peas in a pod over there. Would you go figure that? So we see a 9-6 half come out there from Ghost on their T side. Kind of looking more into it, though, for the Ghost side of things. What can they be doing better going forward?
I would say on their CT side, they played extremely, extremely passive towards the A bomb side, even at one point or at multiple points of the match where they had 4 people in A, and I don't think any of them was even peeking in the middle. And I think if you're going to stack a bomb site with rifles or guns, you need to be a little more proactive. Maybe a team, if you're playing against Rogue, who you saw a lot of flash smokes. Like, make them use their utility a little earlier in the round. Kind of smoke out mid, push them back, make them toss flashes. So you don't want a team to be completely set up with all their utility.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's like the main thing, right? Is like, it seems like it might be good to play passive, right? If you think you have, a great crossfire. But once teams are at this level in Pro League, if you give them the space, they probably have a super well thought out execute if they have all the nades and you're giving them the map control, right? Like, if I'm T-side, top mid and nobody's picking me for Arch or Porch, like, I probably have a sick exec on the A side. I don't care if there's 4 people there. You're going to get smoked and flashed and mollied.
Yeah, you can't let teams just creep up like that.
So in total, I agree. More CT aggression for Ghost, and they probably have a better outcome.
So we've talked about what Rogue can do better. We're going to take a look now at what Ghost could do better here. We do see a botched, we've talked about Ghost could do better. Mm-hmm. We're going to see a botched execute here from the Rogue side of things and a missed smoke that ultimately cost them a round.
Mm-hmm. So I think this is round number 27, 13 all. Map on the line here. This is a high tension situation here, and they have a cool strat, right? So they're gonna do this B to or this mid to B, 2 people going through Arch, and it's a great idea. But one smoke misses, and it's their undoing, right? So look, Molly comes down into the water. See that smoke? That smoke has the T trail behind it, right? So that's a T smoke that missed, and that would have been another angle of the CT's locked out or less information, right? And they ended up losing this round, and the match could have been ended earlier, right? So this round probably would have gone Rogue's way. Instead, that smoke is there unraveling.
And it looked like it was a smoke for that coffins area where Connor was picking off people.
Yeah, so it was going to be a wrap, right? It was going to be the front of the B site smoked off. One of the smokes is missing, and now everyone just gets bamboozled through it.
Bamboozled.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hell of a word you got there.
Yeah, it's a SAT word, really high-level reading going on right now.
Okay, so we do see Rogue. They do grab the their first 2 Ws here, and ultimately good for them. Is this something we can see them kind of pick up some steam behind it, or is it just maybe?
I mean, if it's always nice when you get your first 2 wins, I think it's going to at least help them in the confidence level. And this game's all mental, and when you're 0-9 or 0-8, you just the wins, they help. They really help you play better.
Well, that does it for our first 2 matchups of the night. In case you're just now joining us or you have missed those 2 matchups, head over to youtube.com/ESLCS, where you can load up that VOD and many, many, many more to include VODs that aren't there yet, such as our next matchup, which we'll be going to after the break. We're going to be jumping into Misfits and Splice over 2 maps, so make sure that you are here with us when we come back.